In just 2 days from the time of me releasing this video, Thursday evening, the Game Awards 2025 will commence, and we will finally have an answer to what the mysterious portal represents that Jeff Keighley posted a picture of back on November 28th. As you can see, this tweet got 23 million views, and it's a picture of some sort of portal in a desert area. Let me bring over my program here so you can see a few more pictures. Now, as you can tell, it's some sort of demonic looking portal, and I have a few different angles. There's been so much speculation as to what this could possibly be. It's just been the talk of the gaming industry for the past, ever since November 28th. But only recently have people started mentioning it possibly representing something for Larian Studios, the studio behind Baldur's Gate 3 and the Divinity Original Sin franchise. And I've seen a few things that were interesting and compelling a little bit, but I never really was like, that's going to be worth doing a video on until today. So let me take you just through the timeline of how this has evolved into me actually feeling like I should do a video. But before we get into that, I do just want to quickly say I do see a lot of people on X and different places saying Larian already confirmed that they're not working on Divinity as one of their next projects or whatever, and that's just simply not true. I don't know how that misinformation spread. I have yet to see any proof that they said that, and I keep track of this stuff a lot because Larian Studios and their games are a big part of my channel. What we do know is that Larian is confirmed to be working on 2 ambitious RPGs. That's what they said. One of them is codenamed Project Excalibur, and Sven also said that one of them is different than what you think it is, but still familiar. We also know that they are developing their own IPs, which would make you think that both of the next projects are their own IP. And I guess not 100% confirmed that, but that's what it's leaning towards right now, is this next game is going to be their own IP. So up first, XDAS1, some sort of leaker in the industry who I read doesn't have the greatest track record, but I haven't really confirmed that myself, posted last week that the statue seems like it's referencing Zoroastissa, and Zoroastissa is the goddess who created the lizard race, one of the divine, one of the 7 in Divinity lore, or the designs of demons/nightmares from the Divinity art book. And XDAS says the left image seems to be the lower part of a woman. I'm not really seeing that. I guess maybe a little bit. And also, as for the demons and the nightmares, if we take a look at this next picture here, you can see some demons in Divinity lore. I mean, I guess you can see a little bit of that on the statue, and then the nightmares. Sure, but I feel like every single fantasy universe out there that has demons like this, you could say looks like the portal that we're looking at. There's nothing really here that got me excited. Up next, Radark M, an account on X, replied to Synth Potato on a post that involved the portal, and Radark says, okay, I'm going to explain why I see Divinity Original Sin 3 here from Larian. First of all, a bear and an alligator. We see them both in Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. So you guys can see we have bears from the Divinity games and then an alligator from the Divinity games. And if I go ahead and go into my program here, just so you guys can quickly see, this is really nothing too crazy yet. I promise the bigger news is coming here soon, but you can see we have bears on the portal, and they look somewhat similar, but a bear is a bear, right? And then we have the crocodile right here. As you can see, very similar head design and everything, but once again, it's a crocodile. How can we know for sure? One thing that I do want to point out, that although this portal does look quite serious, there's some interesting things that you can note, such as the alligator here having hands. And Larian is known to do some kind of weird, almost goofy type things in their Divinity franchise. So maybe possibly seeing things like this, a crocodile with a hand, could potentially be one small dot on a chart leading us to think that it's Larian. But let's press on. Radar then brings up that Larian did say that they'll probably be launching their next game into early access. Now, this doesn't really mean anything except that it's possible that we could get our hands on Larian's next game, possibly in 2026, maybe 2027. Even if the game is still 4 or 5 years away, we're hitting that time period now where we could get our hands on an unfinished Act 1 like we did with Baldur's Gate 3. And there's just another small dot indicating that this could possibly be Larian announcing their next game, as an early access period could start potentially next year or maybe 2027. Moving on to the next Radark response here. The armor right here, which is Red Prince, of course, from Divinity Original Sin 2. Radark says it's the same as the one that we can see here, from the Red Prince. So if we go over to the statue, as you can see, we have the armor design, and it does look very similar to what the Red Prince is wearing, although it's hard to know for sure because there are armor designs out there that are just like this. So we can't really, you know, say this is definitive proof. With that said, thinking back on the Xtas1 leak that I talked about earlier about the portal possibly having something to do with Zoralstissa, the goddess of the lizards, the creator of the lizard race, and Red Prince is a lizard. The lizards hail from a very deserty type kingdom, and of course the portal was placed in a desert. So I don't know. Then Radark posted a picture of Thane, eternal stuff, and then there's skulls on the portal. This doesn't really mean much though. You see skulls in so many different things, and a model of Adramalik. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce. I have to replay Divinity Original Sin 2, but a lot of people are speculating that the portal kind of gives the Adramalik demonic vibe, I guess. I mean, you can see on the actual portal there's like what appears to be like these snake-like appendages, and I mean everything just looks demonic, but I mean anything from any lore demonic is going to kind of look like this portal. But this got me thinking. I looked up the Lord of Chaos on the Divinity wiki. I'm not a Divinity lore expert yet, but I promise I will be at some point soon. But the Lord of Chaos is the creator and the god of the demon race, trapped in Tartarus, which is basically hell. But if we read this one little excerpt from the wiki, trapped between the realm of the living and the dead, Chaos created the dimension known as hell, where all demons and damned souls now reside for eternity. He himself has continued to influence the mortal race from his cage, encouraging war and spreading chaos as a means to open a doorway for himself back to Rivellon. There are two known occasions where Chaos physically or spiritually returned to Rivellon. This is just something to keep in the back of our heads here. Open a doorway. Up next, the Game Awards posted a mysterious line here in reference to the portal. The blank are silent, blank bleeds, new blank stir. And people have been doing all sorts of different ideas here and speculations. Radark says the 7 are silent. So the 7 is obviously divinity related. The 7 gods, source bleeds, and new wars stir. So possibly something like that. It could be divinity related, but we just don't know. But now on to the big news that's going to make all of you guys understand why I'm actually spending the time to do a video like this when the Game Awards are only 2 days away. And that is on mpfirst.com. So they get credit for deciphering this and looking this up. Trademarks reveal new logo for the Divinity franchise and statue connection. So the discovery centers on 3 new trademarks registered today in Europe. Let me move my webcam a little bit so you guys can see. Registered today in Europe for the Divinity franchise, 1 for a logo and 2 for icons that appear to be related to the logo or promotional material. Although the owner of these filings is not listed, the representative ID ties them as the same. The design is unmistakably linked to the franchise created by Larian Studios. This new logo features the aesthetic of previous logo titles, but also a refreshed, modernized font, strongly hinting that this represents a brand new project in the saga rather than a simple re-release. Now, of course, I try to verify anything that I can because who knows what people post these days, but I actually went over to euipo.europe.eu and I checked here and I looked all these up, and as you guys can see, we have a Divinity trademark registered here on 9/12 of this year. Then on the same day, we have this one by the same representative ID number. And then we have the most important one that we're going to be taking a look at here with the same representative ID number on the same day. And the representative name right here is IHDE and Partner. I did look them up, and they are like some sort of law firm, and they specialize in different things like helping companies trademark certain things. So Larian possibly might be working with them. And they are based in Germany, which is close to, you know, Larian in Belgium. But going back to this one, actually, I'm going to go back to mpfirst.com. They have a really interesting revelation here. So that logo that we just saw, this one right here, this, if you line it up with the statue, look what you got. It almost lines exactly up perfectly, which is kind of crazy, right? I mean, it's not 100% proven, but this is really close. I don't know how this can this be a coincidence? I guess. but this is the reason why I'm actually doing the video. And thank you to Pina on my Discord server for letting me know about this article today. Because before this, I wasn't thinking that it was anything to do with Divinity. But look at that. Isn't that crazy? MP First also does a little bit of more far-fetched speculation here and says that that actual logo could kind of signify the God King, referencing the Black Ring faction, which is very important to the Divinity games, as we have like 6 appendages coming out of the God King, and then it's the same for the logo, but that's kind of a far stretch right there. However, if we do look up the Black Ring on the wiki, as you guys can see this image right here, if I pull up my program, you guys can see that there's also some similarities going on here, as this kind of looks similar to this. So as you can see, we have a circle or a sphere in the center, and then spikes coming out around it, and then something going up and down. We have an opening going up and down. That's, of course, not definitive proof, as a lot of things can look like that, but all the small dots are kind of telling a picture here. And then when you bring up the actual new registered trademark and look at the portal, whew, this is kind of crazy. So the last thing I want to talk about is I did look at the nice classification right here. I don't fully understand all this, but depending on what you want to trademark something for, it has to fall under different types of classifications. Well, the Divinity logo right here is 9, 16, 25, 28, 41. And the logo that we, or whatever this is that we've been looking at and comparing to the portal, is also 9, 16, 25, 28, and 41. But the other one, this weird looking, whatever this is, of some sort of character and maybe a spider web or something like that, has the same numbers, but it also has 26, which the other two don't have. And if you look up on WIPO, I might be doing the wrong research here, I'm not entirely sure, but class 26 is lace, braid, and embroidery, ribbons and bows, buttons, hooks and eyes, pins and needles, stuff like that. So maybe this, I don't know what this is. Somebody was speculating that it could just be like a skill icon for a game or something like that. Maybe this is like some sort of pin or something. How could this relate to Divinity? What could this signify in relation to everything else we talked about? I'm not sure, but this is something that is still a mystery. Everything's a mystery today. But wow, things are kind of lining up here. I'm still not fully convinced that this is Larian yet, the portal, but it would be a hell of a marketing move and an announcement for Larian, especially doing it in this cryptic way. It's just been such good marketing for whatever is being advertised here. It's gonna be so funny if it's like some mobile game or something like that. I thought it was worth doing a video a couple days before the Game Awards. I will be streaming on my channel the Game Awards if you guys want to hang out with myself in this community. If this is Larian related, this community is probably going to be going pretty crazy, so it should be a fun time. And yeah, this would start my coverage of their next game, because I will be all over that. That will be a main focus of my channel. What do you guys think about all this? Thank you to watching all the way to the end. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you on Thursday evening or on the next video. See ya.